One.
Hi y'all, and welcome back to the Bookish podcast. I'm C, and Shai will be with us in a few minutes. Today, we will be talking about The Wicked King. It is part of the Folk of Air series by Queen, Miss Holly Flagg. Now, in case you're new here, we post on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I think.
Yeah.
And that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. And we are two best friends who decided to start a podcast together. Now, like I said, we will be talking about The Wicked King. In case you haven't already seen our episode on The Cruel Prince, the first book of the Folk Fair series, go watch that. It's really cool. I love it. I had really a lot of fun with that one, even though I did have to leave at the end of it. But, yeah. Go watch it. And like and subscribe.
Plug our Instagram, see?
Oh yeah, we got Insta. Our @ is the BookishPod25. And that's where we post reviews and ratings and updates with the podcast. So announcements like our new logo and upcoming surprises that we will eventually be telling you about. So stay tuned for that.
Alright, I'm back.
Hey, Shad.
You did a good job. So, for most of y'all who don't know, I usually do the intro. So this was C's. I think it's your first time doing it, ain't it?
I think it's like my second time, but my first time doing it. Here's my emotional support animal.
Yeah, I wasn't here this time. I had to go fix me something to drink. So
I'm used to having her as an emotional support animal.
Alright. So, Wicked King. Do you want to give them a rundown of what the book's about? Or since you did the intro, do you want me to give them a rundown?
I want you to, please.
Okay.
I've already talked a lot.
You did good, though. You did good.
Thank you.
So, Wicked King is the second book, like she said. And so we're back. We are back with Jude and Carden. And she has essentially bound him to her. And made herself the power behind the throne. I love Jude so much. In my last episode, that'll probably be posted before this one. I really don't know. Anyways, I did an episode on Crescent City, and I was talking about strong female roles. And we had a whole conversation about this yesterday.
Yes.
Fantasy romance has so many strong female characters, and I'm so here for it.
Yeah.
So, Jude is making, big time power moves. She's bossing it up. And Carden, this is where they, really start falling for each other, I feel like, in Wicked King.
Yeah, it's when they somewhat start lovering, and then they go back to enemy.
Yeah.
This book is, the in-between, kind of. Because Carden feels betrayed by Jude, I feel like.
Yes. So, that's something that I did kind of notice when I was doing some research for this episode. He kind of, like we said in the last one, Carden never wanted to be on the throne.
He never wanted to be on the throne. He didn't want that kind of power. He feel like he belonged on the throne.
And when, like, they found out that Oaks was actually able to be on the throne, and they figured all that out, Carden kind of got put in a situation he didn't want to be in. Jude put him on the throne so that Vivi could take Oaks to the human world and raise him and give him a normal childhood.
And teach him the humility that humans have.
Yeah. So essentially, to teach him to be a good king in the future, Carden had to step in and play king for the meantime.
Yeah, and also, when you look at it as well, Maddox was wanting to use Oak for power.
Oh, yeah. Maddox was so, like, he power hungry. That man,
yeah.
Shoot.
And so I feel like a part of Jude knew that even if she put Oak on the throne and she was in charge of what Oak did, Maddox could still come in and take over that power very easily.
Oh, yeah.
He couldn't take it as easily if Carden was on the throne.
So, one of their things, Jude and Carden, is if she commands him to do something, he has to do it. That was her stipulation. And so they made, like, a pact or a bond or whatever. And if you don't know, when the Fae make a bond, they're bound by blood.
Yeah.
And so...
And they're bound to you until you release them.
Yeah. And so... Jude and Carden, they have this whole back and forth because she bound him to her. And I love it because he tries so hard to undermine her. But at the same...
It's so funny.
It is. Because he's trying it, but he's like a lovesick puppy at the same time.
Yeah. I think she kind of was... She didn't like herself when he got poisoned later in the book.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
She didn't like herself for binding him to her because he couldn't draw on the earth as easily for power. Because if he was bound to her, he couldn't reach his full potential.
So, kind of going off of that, the folk, they love to, like, have parties. That's something that's very big in Elfin, is parties. They have parties to celebrate the harvest. They have parties to celebrate solstices. It's every excuse that they can find, they have a party.
Even if it's just the weekend.
Yeah, even if it's just the weekend. But, like, all their parties, they're not, like, what you would imagine, like, a party would be. They're, like, full-blown balls.
Yeah. And, like, not just balls. They're, like, a mixture of your regular...
Yeah, they're very extravagant balls.
Yeah. But also it's, like, a mixture of teenage parties.
It kind of is. And one of those examples, so she put Locke in charge of, like, the party planning because her sister...
she didn't.
No, she didn't.
She didn't.
Who? Carden did. Yeah, Carden did.
Because Locke came to talk to Carden during a revel.
Oh, yeah.
And since they were in the public, Jude couldn't command him not to.
Yeah, because that was one of the stipulations. She couldn't command him in public.
Or else people would know that she was the power behind the throne.
Yeah. So, he puts Locke in charge. And he threw a party for something. I don't even remember what it was. But Jude almost died at it.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about that for a minute?
Wait, no, she didn't die.
She almost did. She almost did. Because they poisoned her.
Did she get taken?
No, she didn't get taken.
I don't remember them poisoning her?
Yeah, they poisoned her.
Oh yeah, where they made her the Queen of Mirth and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I may be a little dramatic when I say she almost died, but if humans eat too much fey food, it's like very, very toxic to them. And they were feeding it to her left and right, and she was so murky-headed that it wasn't even funny. And sweet little Carden sweeps in and rescues her. That was my favorite part.
I hated Moffat so much in this book.
Him and Tara, or however you pronounce her name.
Taran.
Taran. There we go.
They're both so toxic. Especially Taran.
I hate them so much, bro.
She is so toxic.
And they got married, dude.
Yeah, not to mention, in the first book, I don't know if we mentioned this or not, but Jude was dating Locke. She was in love with Locke. And Taran had promised Locke that she wouldn't tell Jude that her and Locke were going to get married.
Because he wanted to see how the story played out.
Yes. And she knew that Jude was in love with Locke.
I love it so much at the same time, though, because, like, Jude winds up in love with Carden. And, spoiler, at the end of The Wicked King, they get married and he makes her his queen.
I know.
But then
he outsmarts her.
Yeah, then he outsmarts her. For her own safety, keep in mind.
And also, he thought that she would see through the loopholes of it.
And she did, after she, like, got over the whole love-struck puppy thing. And started using...
And also the brokenheartedness.
Yeah. And started using her big girl brain. She figured it out pretty quickly.
Which also, that was, like, the first time we've really seen her get brokenhearted like that. And actually let herself feel it.
And I hate it so much because, like, she was so afraid, you could tell it the whole time, to trust him. And so I hated it so much that she did start trusting him and, like, loving him. And then he had to do that to protect her.
Yeah, but also I love how well it was written at the same time. Because when you think about it, that's really the only times that she had her breaking moment in that series.
Oh, yeah.
And it showed, like, how humanly people deal with that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't make her seem like she wasn't human.
So
it also showed how all the other girls deal with breakups.
I have a genuine question. Do you think that Carden will make Jude immortal? Or,
yeah, 100%. 100%.
Okay, 100% of that one. Do you think that as long as humans stay in Elfin, that they don't age after a certain age?
Yes, that is proven in the book.
Oh, it is? Wait, which one?
Yeah, what was the name of Carden's father?
Oh. Shucks, I can't remember his name. Eldridge? Eldridge.
His father's advisor, yes, Eldridge. Eldridge's advisor was human, and he lived in Elfin for, like, 900 years, and he didn't age a day.
Oh.
But Jude described him as, you could see it in his eyes that he had aged.
Yeah.
Because in his eyes were weary,
mm-hmm.
tired. That's how she described him.
I wonder, though, if when she does put the crown on, if she'll age differently.
Wait, remember she had her coronation
Oh, yeah.
at the end of the book. And, like, I feel like she wouldn't stop going to the mortal world.
No, and that kind of worries me because I'm like, I want her to stay in Elfham and, like, be happy with Carden and live a big, long life. And
I've
him,
also heard you say that Vivi is toxic as well. So.
she is, but Oaks is in the mortal realm. So I would feel bad for Jude to not go see her brother.
Yeah. I think the other books, the Stolen Heir series, about Oak, I think that fills in the blanks a little bit because it's talking about how when he's older.
Oh, okay.
So.
I would really love to see, like, Jude become Fae, though, or at least become immortal.
Maybe they could, like, pull a Rhysand or something.
Oh, yeah. No. They don't need to pull a Rhysand because the way Feyre became immortal, she had to, like, die. And they had to bring her back to life.
Well, still.
You're like, anything for the plot. Anything for the plot.
Yep. The plot is important.
It's very important. It's a really good book, though. We've said that a lot. I feel like we're repeating ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
It is. Holly Black is the queen of enemies to lovers.
She's the queen of, like, YA fantasy in general. We didn't mention that.
This book is, like, completely YA.
Well, now, they do kind of get it on in The Wicked King. But it's closed door. So.
Yeah. It's, like, it's a very enjoyable book.
It is. There's not a lot of cussing.
I don't think there is any.
There might be, like, a word or two here and there. But it's not, like, nothing major.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the discussion questions in the back. Oh, so we talked about, which I don't like how this is wrote. Because it says, like, question 11 in the discussion questions in the back. It says, why do you think Carden betrays Jude at the end of The Wicked King? Do you think he was planning on betraying Jude the whole book? What do you think will happen to Jude in the next book? Which is The Queen of Nothing. So I don't really agree with how that's wrote because he didn't really betray her.
In her eyes, she was betrayed. Yeah, I get that. But, like, when you really slow down and... Which also, keep in mind, those questions were probably made, like, when that book.
Yeah, to make you want to read the next book.
Yeah. And, like, that was before The Queen of Nothing when we realized he wasn't actually betraying her. So. I'm sure everyone was thinking then that he had betrayed her. Now, as soon as I read that he did what he did, I lost it. I went and I grabbed The Queen of Nothing and I read 2 or 3 chapters. When it was already 2 a.m. So that tells you something. The plot.
The plot is everything.
Yes.
If you're wondering why I'm being so quiet, it's because I'm reading the quote-unquote, like, spicy parts of it.
Oh.
Okay. I can confirm they are closed door.
Yep.
So, clears that up. Thank the Lord for fast readers. So, if y'all can't tell, we're a little scatterbrained in this episode. That's because we're filming this in like the hour window that we have before we have to leave for practice.
Yeah, and also, we were both up until 1 o'clock this morning, texting each other.
Yeah.
About some future surprises with our channel.
So should we tell them? Should we tell them?
Not until we have it. I don't think we should until it's fully in motion. I want to make sure that nothing will fall through.
Fair. Should we at least like introduce the new fella though? Because
okay,
I might put him in the background of some videos. I'm gonna be completely honest.
He is okay.
Yeah. So I've noticed a recurring trend with a lot of podcasts. They have little friends. And like, I was watching one podcast, I forget what the name of it is, but they have like a ghost that's their mascot. And so we decided our mascot would be my little owl friend that sits on my bookshelf. You want to tell him his name, and then I'll explain it?
His name is Surreal.
So, my book girlies know who Surreal is. Surreal was the one in Akatar, the like creature who told Farah to stay with the High Lord. And like, the Surreal came into play a lot of times. And I always kind of imagined, and this may be my own delusion, but I always kind of imagined the Surreal as like the guardian of the forest in Akatar. That's what it reminded me of. So, naturally, I named my bookshelf owl Surreal because he's sitting in front of my Akatar and my other Sarah J. Maas books, and he's the guardian of the bookshelf.
Yeah.
So, I will put a picture of him on our community page. Like our community.
We actually have several photos of him.
Yeah. I'll put a picture of him up, though, so y'all can kind of see what he looks like. But hopefully, y'all get to see him in the backgrounds of some videos and stuff.
We also, like we said, we have some things in motion that hopefully we'll be able to show you soon.
Very big things. And hopefully, next week will be our first time recording together in person.
Yes.
So.
If everything works out like it's planned.
Yeah, because
a
lot of people don't know this, but we actually live a decent distance away from each other.
Yeah.
That's why we...
Honestly, not as far as some friends are, but like...
No. That's honestly the reason we kind of do over the phone for this stuff.
And also, we have very busy schedules.
Yeah, but at the same time, we see each other, like, a lot.
Yeah.
But...
It's just that the things we see each other at, we can't record at.
Yeah. That's like practice this evening. We've talked about, like, recording at practice before. But we have a 2.5 hour practice, y'all.
Yeah, and she's a coach.
Yeah, I'm a coach. I'm there for, like, 3.5 hours.
I mean... With the first half of our practice, I could arguably only practice for about half that time. I mean, I don't necessarily need to not practice
as your coach,
the whole time, but...
As your coach, that's debatable. But as your podcast partner, I'm like half tempted.
Yeah. Also, you're a coach.
Yeah. So. It's a process, guys, and y'all are just along for the ride.
It's a very chaotic ride.
We've said it before, I'll say it again. We created this podcast to be one big book club.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Cheyenne, do you want to give them their writing prompts?
I'll let you give it to them.
So we want to know what books y'all are reading, what books y'all want to read, and what books have y'all read so far this year? No more than 5, please.
And you can email those to us or DM us or even comment under the videos. We will read them. Our email is atthebookishpod25@gmail.com. Our Instagram is atthebookishpod25. And yeah.
And if you want to make any fan art of Soriel or just any book bestie art, send that to us. Email it to us. We're always looking for some more.
And maybe one of your designs will make it in a video sometime.
Yeah.
And if y'all have any books you want us to do reviews on or do episodes on, send them to us. I'm not above researching a book to be able to talk about it if I don't read it. And I read most every kind of book, so
I'm about to read How the King of Elfheim Learned to Write Stories.
I'm still reading Light Lark.
You're loving it.
I am. It's going. I love the book. It's not like it's going slow. The book's not wrote to be read slowly, but it's going slow for me because I'm going through and anointing it. So
yeah.
But yeah. Well,
I'm excited to show y'all what we have in the works. And once we get it done and set in motion to where we aren't worried about the details of whether it will work or not anymore, y'all get to find out.
Yeah. We're becoming official. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Oh, and something I want to add real quick before we run out of time. Our Spotify. We had talked about trying to post on Spotify. I am struggling with that, trying to figure out how to do it to become a Spotify creator. But for all my reading girlies who like ambiance sounds when you read in the background, or
just playlists connected to books.
Yeah, or just playlists connected to books. That's what our Spotify is now going to be dedicated to. So all of our playlists that we're going to create are going to be public. You can go and view them. Do you remember what our podcast or our Spotify is?
The Bookish Pod.
Okay.
I changed it today.
Oh, okay, yeah. C's on top of it. I've been in classes all morning, so. So, the Bookish Pod on Spotify. We'll try to start getting some playlists together and stuff.
Okay. Well, I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I got to get some stuff to do.
All right. We'll see y'all on the next read. Bye.